Welcome to There's a Musical for That.
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 And if you like cellar dwellers
And trapdoor lovers.
there's a musical for that.
And if you like mermaids, crabs, and guppies, why? There's a musical for that.
If you like fan of the opera fan fiction, there's a musical for that.
If you like falling in love and broken hearts, and establishing your dreams and then having them dashed, and duels, there's a musical for that.
And it's called Wicked.
And it's called Little Mermaid Live.
It's called Hamilton.
And it's called Dogfight.
And it's called Phantom of the Opera 2, Love Never Died.
Welcome to There's a Musical for That.
Did you ever know that you're my hero? And everything I would like to be. I can fly higher than an eagle. You are the wind beneath my wings.
Hi, welcome to There's a Musical for That, the podcast where we prove there's a musical for every situation. I'm Kayla.
And I'm Tiffany.
And if you like childhood friendships, well, there's a musical for that, and it's called Beaches.
Woo!
Beaches came out in 1988. It stars Bette Midler and Barbara Hershey.
I
Pretty
didn't know
iconic
the other
film.
person's name, so. I knew Bette Midler.
I know Barbara Hershey's name because it's on the cover of the movie.
Yes, which you own because it's one of your favorites.
Yes. One of my mom's friends gave it to me when I was in second or third grade. I believe it was second grade. I don't know why she gave it to me.
Yeah, that's a hefty movie for a second grader.
She was right because I loved it. I absolutely adored this movie and I'd watch it all the time. This and Forrest Gump and Edward Scissorhands were my movies.
Oh.
Weird child.
I mean, they're
Weird
good
parent,
movies,
weird
but-
parents who would allow their small child to watch these movies.
I saw them all when I was younger, but I didn't
Attached to
small,
them.
Yeah, as a small child, I still preferred the but
I don't know why.
I prefer the cartoons as an adult still. So it's just
I like cartoons too. I don't know why I was so attached to Forrest Gump. I really don't know what it was. My mom took me to see it, I think, 3 or 4 times because I just loved it.
Oh,
I don't know.
That's cool.
I don't know.
a very popular movie.
I know I like Beaches because there's songs in it, and I love songs.
songs
And child
in it.
stars because I want it to be a child star.
Yep. So just for the listeners, how much of a musical would you qualify this as?
Middle.
Middle? Okay, that's fair.
More a musical than, say,
The Good Old Summertime?
even the Good Old Summertime, I put it not as far over to not a musical. I had one and then I forgot what it was.
Sorry.
No, it wasn't you. I had it in my mind before we started this. But not something where maybe they're just like a whatever. I can't think of what I want to say, but I'd say it's about in the middle because it is about a singer. She sings repeatedly.
Right. So Bette Midler, her career is to sing. She's a performer. So that's why there are songs in the movie. This is not a musical, as in like the characters just burst into song.
The songs are not moving the plot forward.
Correct.
How much of a musical would you consider this?
By the definition that we established of if the songs move the plot forward, I guess it's, by that definition, it's not, but it is more of a musical movie because it one of the characters is singing. Actually, they all sing at some point or another, I guess. Sure they do. They sing in the car ride when they're going to the beach, and then they sing those Christmas carols together. So
optimistic.
Yeah.
But the songs do convey emotion because sometimes Bette Midler's singing is overlaid over an emotional scene.
that is true. That is true.
So this is a Gary Marshall film, which I did not know until I was looking it up for this movie. Gary Marshall, who did Happy Days.
Ooh.
And who did all those Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, all those big ensemble. Love Actually, I think he did that too. Gary Marshall just does that stuff. And we will never watch the remake, so just
Nope.
FYI. I refuse.
No interest. I've seen enough TV remakes, and generally I'm not pleased.
Yes.
Except possibly Dirty Dancing.
Stop.
It was amusing.
No.
That
scared me.
It was.
I saw one clip and I was scared. I was very frightened.
Okay, off topic.
Okay, so what is this movie about? Do you want to give it a go, or would you like me to just steamroll
Like a
it?
synopsis?
What's this movie about? What happens?
What are the characters' names? I know what it.
Cece
Cece
and Hillary Whitney.
Hillary. So Cece is the singer.
Cece Bloom.
Yeah. So they meet as children.
Do you want to talk about how this whole movie is a flashback? Because the very beginning, she's getting ready for her concert, remember? And she gets a call, and she has to drive. Okay. Well, in the very beginning, she's a grown-up Cece is practicing for a concert, and she gets a call that her friend something has happened to her friend. So she leaves, and she drives all the way to wherever Hillary lives, and she reminisces back to when they first met.
Yes, and they first met as children. So Cece was a childhood performer, singer, and Hillary came from a rich family and was staying at a very nice hotel. And I think Hillary was lost. So
She was lost on the beach.
Yeah, she was lost on the beach, and Hillary helped her Cece helped her find her way to her fancy hotel. She's like, "Oh, I sing there all the time." Hillary's mother was eventually, when they saw each other, because I think they went out for ice cream or something as a thank you.
They were ordering ice cream sodas, and that wasn't her mom because her mom was dead.
Oh.
That was her Aunt Vesta.
Oh. Yeah, same thing.
Yes, and she was like, "We don't play with little hood rat children," or whatever she said to her.
And then they became friends that summer, and then they were pen pals for really most of their lives, and they grew up separate. I don't even know if they saw each other again after that. Maybe they saw each other on other summers, but it doesn't indicate that. We just know that they were at least pen pals. And Hillary went to law school, and Cece continued to perform. And then all of a sudden, Hillary shows up where Cece is one day as adults in New York. And she's like, "Oh, I did it. I finally left. And
quit my job."
Yes. Going against her father's expectations, and is there to live with Cece. And Cece's like, "Oh, okay. That's fine." That seems to go okay until they like the same guy. So there's, what is he, a producer or something, or director?
He's a producer.
He's a producer. So
a theater
Cece
producer.
is doing, what are those singing telegram things? So she's doing that for money on the side, and happens to go to this producer's house to give him a singing telegram. And when he starts, like, or after she's done, he's like, "Oh, hey, you're actually really good." And
Do you
wants
want to
her,
audition?
yeah, and wants her to be in one of his shows to audition for it. And she's like, "Oh, are you serious?" And she starts to like this guy. And then when he finally meets Hillary later, he, of course, likes her because Cece, who has all the talent, is not your traditional beauty, and Hillary is more of your traditional beauty. So he asks her out, and they go on a couple dates, and then that causes a fight, and Hillary is like, "Oh, would you rather me not see him at all?" And Cece's like, "Yeah." Which...
It's fair.
Yeah. Actually, yes, that is what I would like. So Hillary ends up... Where does Hillary go? She moves away.
I think
Is
she
her
just
dad
went back
sick?
home. Yeah, her dad got sick,
Yeah.
so she went back home. But Hillary did sleep with that guy, just so we're all clear. She totally slept with that guy that Cece liked. And then she left town, which is like, we could have just waited and then left town, and it would have been avoided.
Right. So she left because her dad was sick, and then Cece does end up marrying him. But then they later get divorced. Yeah.
Well, they get into it because Hillary, when she comes back to visit, when Cece is successful, for whatever reason, has sour grapes, and she's just being real jerky. And she says something to Cece like, "Well, you only got him because I left. If I was still here, he would never be with you."
And Hillary's married at that point as well, but her marriage isn't.
Her life is just...
Yeah.
She wanted it to be this exciting life, which is why she went out to New York City, but then she ended up going back home and just living the life that she wanted, which is nobody's fault but her own. Yeah. In all honesty. Don't take that out on somebody who's living their dream.
Yeah. And her life isn't even bad. It's just not the life that she wanted for herself.
So then they don't see each other for a while.
Yes.
Until Hillary leaves her husband.
Yes. And she's pregnant when she leaves, I guess. Or did she already have the kid?
No, she was pregnant when she left. The child never saw its father.
Okay.
But
well, no, she see because at the end of the movie, she's like, "Oh, I know who he is.
Well,
I see him around
she
town."
never like met him. She said,
Okay,
"I know what he
yes.
looks
She didn't
like.
have
I
a
saw
relationship
him."
with him.
Yeah,
Yes.
she saw him walking down the street. So Hillary comes back and she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." And meanwhile, Cece's career was at the high point when her and Hillary got into it, and then Hillary comes back. She's back at a low point in her career, and Cece forgives her for whatever reason.
And they're like, "Oh, let's never fight again," or something or other. I think. What happens after that? Because Cece's career starts to take off again, but because she meets up with the producer again and stars in one of his shows, so her career starts to take off
again. So before that, she actually goes back to help Hillary because Hillary's pregnant. She's a single mom. She goes back to help Hillary, and she starts dating Hillary's OBGYN.
That's right, yes.
Yes, so she's like, well, I'll just live a normal life with you, and I'll help you. And she starts dating Hillary's OBGYN, and they get engaged. And then the producer guy calls Cece and says, like, I have this show for you.
Yes.
And she decides, I was just kind of pretending I wanted a normal life because I was a failure.
Yep.
But I actually don't. And she leaves her fiance.
And doesn't even tell him. She asks Hillary to break up with her fiance for her.
Who is her friggin' doctor, and she hasn't even had the baby yet.
So awkward.
At that point. So that happens, and then when Hillary goes into labor, of course, Cece comes back, and she sees the OBGYN again in the delivery room, which is just a funny moment.
Yep.
So
but
yes.
he later gets married or something.
Yeah, he has a fine.
Else. Yeah,
he's
okay.
fine. Yeah, he seemed nice.
Yes, but she treated him poorly.
They are very dysfunctional women,
Yes.
those two.
Yep. And when we say that they were going to live normal lives, like Hillary has lots and lots of money, so they were going to live on her estate.
They were going to live non-famous lives.
Yes.
Yeah.
But perfectly comfortable.
Yeah.
Very roomy home. So yeah, then Cece goes and lives her famous life, and Hillary is raising her daughter as a single mother.
Who's named Cece.
Oh.
She named her daughter after her.
I missed that.
They just call the little girl Cecilia. They don't call her Cece.
Oh, okay. And she is continuing to practice as a lawyer. And then I guess they don't see, maybe they see each other off and on, but years go by. So the little girl's like, what would you say, 10?
I was going to say 8.
That's good, yeah.
She looked like she still had all her baby teeth.
Okay. She's around 8. And that's when Hillary is going up, I guess, to go into court or something, and all of a sudden gets sweaty and like can't breathe, and they have to call an ambulance, and they find out she has a heart virus.
Yeah, which I don't think that's a thing. Can you get a virus in like your internal tissues?
I never looked.
Can you get like a muscle virus because a heart is a muscle?
I'm gonna assume so. Like, there's so many congestive heart failures that why would you make one up? I'm gonna assume she had an actual something. In my mind, I always assumed they made it up because it was something like so super duper rare that there was no real cure for it, and she didn't have a donor and blah blah blah. Because like congestive heart failure, you can get like surgery, you get stents and stuff. Yeah.
But with super special virus,
Well, some things you still need a heart transplant. So it
That's
was
true.
something where she needed
a transplant, like that was the only thing that was going to help.
Yes.
And she was
very rare and not going to get a transplant,
Yeah.
basically. So that is the point where Cece is called and she rushes back.
Yep, that's where the beginning starts.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then Cece does actually do a pretty good job of helping take care of Hillary. Not at first. At first, I think Hillary is like, oh, I just want to go to the beach or something. And Cece's like, oh, yeah, I'll hire you a nurse. And Hillary's like, well, never mind. I can do that myself. And then Cece does fairly quickly. I'll give her that. Like within 10 minutes, she's like, oh, we'll go together. So
But
she
Hillary
goes,
should have outright asked.
Yes.
Because Cece was in the middle of like preparing for a giant performance, and she left immediately, which of course you should for your friend, but I'm not going to impose myself. If you don't ask me to go to the beach with you, I'm not going to like
Right.
force myself on you.
So then they go to the beach, Hillary, Cecilia, and Cece. At first, Cece and Cecilia don't get along, but Hillary really wants them to play together. So they do, but then Hillary gets jealous because she's getting weak and she sees them having a good time and bonding. and then her attitude just sucks. Like
Yeah.
it's awful. And is that the point where her teeth are just like
Crumbling to dust.
yellow and nasty? And
Yeah, because at one point Cece is like, you haven't, taken off these pajamas in 4 days. And she's like, I don't want to take a shower or something. And you see her teeth and she looks like a monster.
Yes.
They're very ugly and they're very nasty.
Yep. So she later brushes her teeth again, which is
And
nice.
changes her clothes and takes a shower, which is great.
Yes, that's very good. So then she starts living her life again, because she's like, something like she's dying, and Cece's like, yeah, but you're not dead yet, you're still in the land of the living. And then afterwards, that's when she takes a shower and
Brushes her
helps them snap peas or something.
Yeah.
And make dinner. Then did they go back to their...
After the
her
summer.
home?
After the summer, they did, and then she had to go back into the hospital.
Yes.
And that was the point. And the people at the hospital, like, she's just going to have to stay here, like, go to a hospice or something. And Hillary told Cece she just wanted to go home. Like, she didn't want her daughter to see her in the hospital.
Yeah.
So they decided to end the last of her time at the beach. So they left the beach at, like, August or something, and they go back, like, at the end of August. And summer is basically over, but they spend the last of her time
Yes.
at the beach.
Yep. And Cece really advocated for her in the hospital. Like,
Yeah.
she just took charge and
Said she
what her
wants
friend
to
needed.
leave.
Yes.
And that's when The Wind Beneath My Wings is sung, the iconic song. And you just watch her. It's sung to the part of they go to the beach and you see Hillary's funeral all through that song, and then it ends and you see little Cece crying.
Sitting on her bed.
Yeah, she's crying, and Cece asks her. She says in her mother's will, she was willed to her, but, everyone else in her family wants her. Vesta wants her. And she asks her who she wants to go with. And she asked if she can bring her cat. And Cece said, yes, you can bring your cat.
You can bring anything you want.
Any old thing you want. So she goes with Cece.
Yep. And then we end seeing, this isn't the ending, but right before the ending scene, you see Cece perform, singing on a stage. What song was she singing?
Glory of Love, which is the song that she sang in the beginning when Hillary went with her when she was a little kid. Mm-hmm. Which is that same song from the very beginning. It's also the last song.
Yes. And Cecilia is on the side of this,
in the
listening
wings.
to her.
Yeah.
And then at the end, they walk up the stairs, like in the back of the stage, and that is when Cece starts telling Cecilia the story of how she and her mother met.
Yeah.
And then the credits roll.
Well, then they have the little overlay of Cece and Hillary when they were little kids saying, like, are we going to be friends or something like that. So.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The end.
Yes. And,
Yes.
fun fact, the rose is not in this movie at all.
Nobody thought that, but you.
If you know Bette Midler by the song The Rose, not in this movie.
Or if you know the song The Rose and didn't know it was by Bette Midler, like me, because you just been to a lot of choir concerts where they sing it, it's by Bette Midler. What was
At least I think so.
What was your favorite song?
The Rose.
No, from this film.
Probably The Wind Beneath My Wings, just because it's the one that I know.
I was just about to say, is that the only one you remember?
Yep. They sang some Christmas carols and such. But
Ades la fidela, letiti encore. I'm singing Latin, but very bad. That's what they were singing.
I think you're doing a great job.
I don't know what the words actually mean. I'm just making sounds that sounded like those words. That's what I mean.
Okay.
In Bethlehem.
Oh, in Excelsis Deo?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is that what? That's what they say.
I may have splurred it, but that's more accurate than what.
I was just making noises.
I,
Isn't all language just noises, guys?
Come
on.
I guess you could say that. Yeah. That's not inaccurate.
They're just all
I don't
noises
know
that
how
we
to
assign
argue
meaning.
against it.
We just assign a wide meaning to these noises, and that's how we talk.
Uh-huh.
The language that I was just singing in, no one knows what that means. But nevertheless.
I do now. It's in Excelsis Deo.
Yes,
is what
but
you were trying to say.
I don't know how to pronounce anything that they were saying.
Anyway, so what's your favorite song from the movie?
The Glory of Love, duh.
Oh, not The Wind Beneath My Wings.
No, it makes me cry too much.
Oh. See, I sing it as a joke because I remember seeing it when Lorelai sang it to Rory and Gilmore Girls one time after she
spoiler
did
alert.
something bad. So that's how I usually sing it, more of like a spoof. I've sang it to you before, although you are the wind beneath my wings.
You're the one
so-
between your You're the wind beneath my wings also.
Thank you.
Somebody in middle school, I know you know this because I tell you this every time I think about it, but it really irks my nerves. One time in middle school, somebody tried to tell me that the song was, there's a spot where she says, I could fly higher than an eagle.
Uh-huh.
And the person was trying to tell me that the lyric was, I can fly as high as an eagle.
Oh.
And I was like, no, it's not. It's, I can fly higher than an eagle.
That's the worst, when you feel very confident that you know that you're right, but then you're wrong.
I was right.
I know, but
yes, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
That was one of the times when I know that I learned a maturity lesson because I acquiesced just because she was so pig-headed. And I was like, well, in my mind, I was like, I know that this is the answer. So I just said, okay. And she did something like, yeah, so I'm right. And I was like, no, you're wrong. Anyway.
Good thing we have the internet now, you know.
I know. I would have ripped her to shreds. Yeah, I like The Glory of Love. When I was a child, I wanted to be a child star. Everyone made fun of me. But when Cece does that in the beginning, I was like, this is who I'm going to be. This is my life. When I'm 12 years old, this is going to be me on a show. It wasn't. But I like it.
It is a very good movie. What should we rate this out of? Is it time to rate? Do we need to do anything else?
Beaches.
Rate it out of beaches?
The number of beaches. There's lots of beaches in the world. That was just a suggestion.
Oh, I mean, it's a good one.
No.
Sunsets on a beach?
There was a sunset in this movie, a metaphorical one and a
Waves on the
literal
beach?
one.
How many waves on the beach would you give
What
it?
does that have to do with this film? Waves were not a big component of this film.
Oh, okay.
Songs?
Songs?
I don't know, Tiffany. I'm sorry.
Many years of friendship.
Yeah!
Okay. Out of 5.
Yes. 5 is the maximum number you can be friends with someone.
Okay. I will give it. I'm gonna give it a solid 3.75 years of friendship because it is a good movie. It's just not one of my go-tos. Like, it's something that I would watch maybe once every 5 years.
Wow.
Per se. 'Cause it's just not a genre that I would usually go back to. Like, if it
Really?
was,
I felt like this is, I don't know. I think because I think chick flick, I think a wide range of anything that has women in it.
Oh, I like romance.
Oh, I guess there wasn't any romance.
What
do you know?
Not really.
What do you know?
So yeah, this was a good friendship movie, but you know, I have friends, so I don't need to watch movies about that. But I don't have romance, so I need to watch movies.
I was just about to ask, are you implying that you don't have romance?
Yes.
I don't watch romance movies, and I don't have romance.
I don't want to.
Don't out me.
Yeah.
What I do in my own time is what I do in my own time. I watch superhero movies, and I don't have any superpowers. So I agree with you.
Okay. How many years of friendship would you rate this out of?
4.75.
Yep.
Because there were some jokes that were off color that I don't remember as a child. And you know, language back in the 80s, they would say like the R word and stuff in movies, like it was normal.
Yep.
And in this, they said some things that I didn't agree with. So I just knocked it down a little bit. But this is a movie that I would when I was little, I would watch this, if not 5 days a week, at least once a week. I could still probably watch it once every 2 weeks. But I have an obsessive, repetitive personality like that.
No, that's fair. Like, I did that to some movies. When my summer after middle school, I watched The Phantom of the Opera every day that summer. So
That's fair. I'm talking about I do these things over the course of years.
like Like, you still...
Like Lord of the Rings. Need we not bring that up? Beaches is still a movie that I will, like, come back to.
I'll still go back to Dirty Dancing.
That's a good movie.
It is a good movie. Kayla's dancing for those of you who are not me and can't see her right now.
You know what I'm talking about? There's that part where they do that. And then yeah, it's my favorite part.
But, fun fact, there is kind of almost a musical Dirty Dancing. ABC did it. We're not going to watch it to rate
terrible.
it, but it's so bad it's kind of funny. There are some parts that I wasn't a huge fan of. I wish they had not gone in some direction, but overall it was so bad it was funny.
Did they cover the abortion subplot?
Yes.
Did they sing through it?
Nope, and I skipped.
Great.
So I didn't watch the whole thing through.
Because after Broken, anything is possible these days. So that's our least downloaded episode, I think. Broken.
Oh, that's fair.
Probably because when I put it out,
Terrible.
the description that went with it said, "Don't watch this."
Oh, good. Good.
I didn't want people to watch it. They could just still listen
Yeah.
to it, guys. Come on.
Yes. No. Dirty Dancing isn't even like, it's not a full musical. There's just like some.
There's some songs because it's at
Yes.
it's not an arts and crafts camp, but they do singing and dancing.
There are, yes, but even like the moments in the original Dirty Dancing, how they were just dancing, sometimes they would sing while they were dancing.
No one needs that. No, thank you. This isn't Hairspray. Keep it to yourself. We should watch Hairspray. That doesn't count, ma'am. I have it.
Okay.
Oh, I have that. You see that? There's a musical section now, right there.
Oh, good. All right.
We should watch A Walk to Remember too. I like that movie. That's even
like
less
that.
of a musical.
It was on. It is less of a musical. It was on TV last week, and I watched the tail end of it, like the last 20 minutes. That's the only Nicholas Sparks movie that I will watch.
That's the only one that I own. So if that tells you something.
Yep. Okay. I think we're done here.
Rate and review us on iTunes. I forget that that's a thing, but please do that or something.
Yes. And goodbye, and I love you.
Talk to us on Facebook and Twitter. Talk to me on Facebook and Twitter at TAMFT Podcast. Tiffany is an admin of the Facebook page, but does she care? No.
I care.
Does she post anything?
Somehow.
No.
We all know that Kayla's really the one you want to talk to anyway.
That's not true. I have a very unpleasant personality.
That's not true at all. People really like you.
That's because
I
of
find
my
you
facade.
to be pleasant. Are you insulting my taste?
Yes.
Oh. All right then. Well.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
I love to kiss them.
Be sure to keep in touch, Cece, okay?
Well, sure. We're friends, aren't we?
Hello, this is Kelly. So I am Kayla's sister, and I listened to the recent podcast on Beaches, a movie that I also happen to love and adore very much. And I had some thoughts that I just had to share with Kayla about listening to the podcast. So, number one, Beaches is such an emotional movie that even as they were just talking about the plot, giving the synopsis, I found myself tearing up listening to it. Now, yes, I am a sensitive person, but most people know, like, Beaches is a tearjerker. And I just liked and found it interesting that the emotions of the movie, if you've even seen it, hearing someone, like, talk about it and give the synopsis of the plot, elicited tears from me. However, my tears were quickly cut short and turned into laughter when Kayla and Tiffany started talking about Hillary's teeth after she got sick. Like, literally, you're in the midst of discussing this horrible disease or heart virus, which I just need you guys to fact check. Like, I'm curious, is a heart virus a real thing? Tiffany goes, wait, is this the part with the teeth? And they just immediately launched into this description of this woman's failing health and what her teeth looked like. It was both horrifying and hilarious all at the same time. My second point that I found hilarious about Kayla as they were discussing the end, like they had finished discussing and they were saying, you know, call us, contact us on social media. And Tiffany says, well, everyone wants to talk to you anyway. And Kayla says, no, my personality is, what did she say? I think she said I have a terrible personality or a horrible personality. It was just the flatness and the matter of fact way that she said it, I found to be hilarious. My last point was when they were trying to decide what to rate this out of, I'm screaming into the phone as I listen, not like they could hear me, to rate it out of ice cream sodas. I'm like, rate it out of ice cream sodas, not beaches. However, I do think Years of Friendship was honestly probably more fitting than ice cream sodas. But I thought that would have been like kind of a cute way because that's the first little like meal that Hillary and Cece shared on the beach that day. This concludes my thoughts and random musings about your podcast.
Bye, everybody.
Farewell.
Bye.
Goodbye.
On Dada C.
Bye. Goodbye. Bye.
Bye.